evening.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, perfect. She does. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you please have a seat, we'll get started. We know that we're the only thing between you and the buffet, so we'll try to make this brief. My name is Brad Littlefield. I am the campaign manager for the Brian McGarry for Rotterdam Town Supervisor campaign. And I want to thank each of you for coming this evening and supporting our cause. I will be very brief. Brian promised me he'll be brief as well. But I want to start out by just asking each of you to ponder for a moment the answer to this question. Who controls your destiny and that of your family members, your friends, your neighbors, and your nation? It's one of those rhetorical questions that you don't have to answer, okay? If you responded that you are personally responsible for your fate, perhaps with divine intervention, and for the consequences of your choices that you make, if you believe that you alone are accountable to yourself, to your family, to your friends, to your neighbors, and to your God for your behavior, if you feel that the individual has the freedom to define his or her own beliefs and to choose for himself or herself the path best taken in your life, then you all understand the power that one person possesses. And if you believe that change can begin with one person offering to lead, then I ask you to join with me to support the individual who I've been asked to introduce to you tonight. I've known Brian for, I think, about 5 years. We met on a soccer field. Our daughters both were teammates on the same team. And what began as a casual relationship has developed into a valued friendship and, I guess, a political affiliation and alliance. Like many of our nation's founders, who entered public service not of desire for self-promotion or personal enrichment, but from a sense of duty, Brian was called upon in 2009 and encouraged to run for town supervisor by individuals who knew of his character, of his fiscal conservatism, of his ideals, and of the principles that guided him. Get a little historical with you. Thomas Jefferson, the author of the Declaration of Independence, was besieged reportedly by his countrymen to serve in many different roles. The second governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. He was the American minister to France. He was the first Secretary of State appointed by George Washington. Vice President under John Adams, our second president, and Thomas Jefferson was our third president who served for 2 terms in that office. Jefferson preferred, however, his private life to his public life. He preferred to spend time with his family, toiling on his farm at Monticello, reading from his library, his expansive library of books, writing and inventing. He preferred that to public office, but he answered his country's calling. With the demands associated with raising 6 children, I miscounted initially in one of my press releases and said 4. There are 2 more I didn't know about, apparently. And Brian alone supports a large part of Rotterdam's economy, I think, he and his family. But with his 6 children and the job of raising those children, working 2 jobs, one of them in private business, to support his family, Brian agreed to campaign for elected office out of concern for the future of his community. He's lived here his entire life, I believe. I won't say how many years. 25 years. And he has a desire to work to bring about the change needed to improve the quality of life of the Rotterdam residents. And I'll let him speak more to that. He's a busy man. He's a father. He's a school teacher. He's a photographer, a small business owner. He's a pickleball player. He can maybe explain that during his comments too. But he's a very busy man. But you know, the adage goes, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. And I think Brian is that person. Brian is the common man. He understands the challenges that are faced by the residents of the town of Rotterdam because, like you, he confronts many of those challenges. The work will be difficult, the challenges may be gradual, but every journey begins with a single step. Our elected leaders at all levels of government have taken us down some roads that are best left untraveled, and today we find ourselves at a crossroads. Going back to what we said before, if you believe that change can begin with one person, an individual of virtue and moral character, offering to lead, I invite you to lend your support by whatever means you can, and to share in this journey to return the concept of service to public service, and to restore civility, transparency, accountability, and representation to government. Friends, I give you Brian McGarry, the next supervisor of the town of Rotterdam.